live at Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. This is Sooner Sports Talk on the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield.
Throw ahead to Nigel Pack, open for three in the tie. Got it! Back to Brown up top, three ball, Xavier, bam! Big one!
Chavez right wing will fire a three. It's a swish. Aaliyah Chavez with her first three. Chavez underneath Williams is wide open. Sahara goes up and scores. Good ball movement, and Sahara Williams finished it.
Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by Dos Equis, official import beer of OU Athletics. Go for Dos. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly.
Beer's got a hand on it. Burholst ahead to Williams. It's a 2-on-1 with Reagan. Reagan goes in. Left side layup is good.
Pack, Forsyth corner, three ball. Got it!
This is Sooner Sports Talk.
Welcome in to Sooner Sports Talk live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. We are talking Sooner men's and women's basketball tonight. The women are on the road. They're about to tip off at 8 o'clock in a top 15 matchup in the SEC against Vanderbilt. That show is on the road, and we have very little time in between shows, so we have to test Clayton Custer's microphone, I am told. Technical issues. Let's see if we can hear Coach Custer's microphone.
All right, can we hear me?
That's a beautiful voice right there. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Sooner men coming off their win at Vanderbilt this past weekend. You've got a little bit of time off, and then you got a matchup with Georgia coming up here this weekend. That'll be at the Lloyd Noble Center. But, guys, what was it like? You know, you go out there, 92-91. It was a shootout down to the wire, and you pull off the win.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Proud of our guys for bouncing back after the Kentucky loss, too. It was a long trip for us, too. We stayed out there. So we went to Lexington, then flew straight to Nashville, spent a couple days in the hotel. And for our guys to come together and figure out a way to win that game in Nashville, I thought I was super proud of our guys for sticking together.
Yeah, what is that like to just stay on the road and decide to kind of hunker down and get ready and prepare for the next opponent?
It's long and tiring, but I thought it was cool because it gave us an opportunity to allow the players to take some ownership in terms of the game plan and how we were going to go about beating Vanderbilt. You know, we had them break up into two teams and two groups and watch some of the different actions and personnel of Vanderbilt and get their input on what they thought was the best approach. You know, so that was really good. I don't know if we would have been able to do that if we were home without that time.
Yeah, you sometimes get free from distractions when you go on the road in that type of situation, right, Coach?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, another thing we did while we were there was we took the team to an escape room, make them communicate a little bit. We separated them up into two teams in that situation, too. And they were kind of racing to see which one would get out first. But both teams got out, and it was kind of a cool team bonding experience, if you will, as well.
Opening segment is presented by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue in Norman. And Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue in Norman always hosts this each and every week. We appreciate coaches being out here. And also by McIntyre Law. McIntyre Law is the proud sponsor of our reviews on the Sooner Sports Basketball Network as well. Xavier had another good, solid game, a couple of games of 20 points in a row. What have you seen from him the last couple of games, Coach?
I think we've seen leadership, you know, him trying to be better as a leader. You know, particularly vocal in huddles, in timeouts. You know, I think he's been pretty consistent with his scoring in SEC play, and it's been up since the non-con. But I think his leadership is something that, you know, coaches really challenged him to grow in, and that he's really trying to, like, you know, match the energy and the challenge that coaches pose.
We'll look at some of the highlights from the Kentucky game first off. This was, you know, one of those SEC games where you go on the road, a hostile environment. Xavier kind of gets you off to a solid start here. You get the game closed down to about 8 points. You know, you got a chance to make it go one way or the other. How did that one get away from you guys?
I thought offensively we played pretty well this game. I think we were, like 1.21 points per possession, which is good enough to win most of the time. So we just got to get stops late in the game. That's one thing that we've been really working on, trying to preach, is as the game goes on, having great possessions offensively, not go through lulls of scoring, and then trying to get stops consistently late in the game. Because scoring will come and go, but you got to be able to get stops in crucial times.
X had a career-high 5 made threes in that game. And you got some contributions as well. Dayton Forsyth is getting himself a little bit healthier. How important is it to be able to have him come in there, in particular spell Nigel and Xavier back there in that backcourt? Coach?
Yeah, it's essential. And I think, you know, in Dayton's absence, we've kind of seen Nigel and Xavier's minute spike. You know, and we rely on them to do so much offensively that, you know, at the end of games, you know, they might be a little bit tired. Shots fall a little bit shorter. You know, and the defenses of the opposing teams are game planning to take those two guys out of the game. They are two leading scorers. So, you know, getting Dayton back, you know, his energy, his passion for the place in the, you know, the state and the city, I think has been huge. You know, not only his contributions of what he's doing, but how it's manifesting in the rest of the team, particularly Nigel and X, being able to get those guys some extended minutes on the bench to be fresher at the end of games.
Another single-digit turnover game. I know that's near and dear to your heart. Only 6 turnovers in that game. But it's 12 single-digit turnover games for this backcourt. How about that one specifically on the road, hostile environment? Rupp Arena, Lexington, Kentucky to only have 6 turnovers in that game.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. That's been a positive of our team all year, though. That's been a strength. And not having those guards, especially having Dayton back, like you mentioned, Nigel, X, Dayton do a really good job taking care of the ball. And it's a huge plus. I mean, having 3 guys that can handle the ball at such a high level gets you into offense. It's been great for us all year.
I thought Kualatak also, you know, he goes game stretches where he's not a big part of things, but in that game against Kentucky specifically came off the bench and provided you guys some solid moments.
He did. I mean, he's a lethal shooter, you know, and he has no conscience, you know, so he's doing a good job of staying ready for when his numbers gets called. And as you saw in that game, you know, he was ready to go from the time he got on in there until, you know, every single minute that he played.
Tate Davis continues his excellent run. We're going to talk about the Vanderbilt game in a moment and what he did in the first 10 minutes of that game, which was just go off. But just tell us about his contributions, how he has stayed with it and how important he has been to you.
Yeah, I mean, he brings a dynamic to our team that nobody else really can bring. Defensively, he's one of the better on-ball defenders in the conference, in my opinion. And then obviously he's one of those guys that can really just get to the basket at will. He's one of the guys on our team that can put pressure on the rim and has a high field goal percentage when he gets to the rim. And he struggled a couple games ago, and then we really emphasized offensively trying to put him in positions where he can get the ball in spots where he can drive it and really go score, you know, around the basket. And the last 2 games, I think that we've had some success doing that, and especially early in the game. It seems like both Kentucky and Vanderbilt, he really was getting to the rim and finishing.
Justin, it's been special for you, I know, to be able to be here in Coach X, but your wife, 3 daughters here in town, and I know that Xavier's awfully fond of his sisters.
Yes,
What has it been like to have that family component for you all here in Norman?
It's been special. Yeah. It's been special. It's been really cool, you know, for him to be able to be playing at the highest level, best conference in the country, you know, and being, you know, me personally being along that journey with him day to day, you know, seeing his ups, his downs, how he pushes through things, you know, it's just rewarding to see as a father, you know, him growing as a young man. But then secondly, you know, for my wife and kids and his mom and sister to be a part of it, you know, makes it super cool. Like he comes to the house when she cooks some of his favorite things, you know, he babysits when we're trying to go out. You know, so it's been a really nice dynamic.
And Clay, you know, we get to talking about your career at Loyola, playing for Coach Moser, and we talk about 3-point shooters. I always say this on broadcast. There are 3-point shooters and there are 3-point makers. You were a 3-point maker. Yeah. You won the NCAA 3-point shooting competition at the Final Four your senior year. And don't start turning red or anything.
You're making me blush.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. Competitions friendly with some of the guys out there. Does anybody ever challenge you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Nigel does every day. But Nigel could beat me in shooting contests.
He could. I think he's number 2 all-time right now as far as active collegiate players.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds right.
Yeah.
He's one of the best shooters I've ever been around. I've never seen him and Kowal. Like when you watch them shoot after practice, they don't miss.
Yeah.
I mean, they all can shoot it at a high level, but Nigel and Kowal, when they get into a shooting competition, it's pretty impressive to watch.
You, Nigel, and Kowal in a shooting competition.
I mean, I'm a confident dude,
Of
so
course you are.
I'm gonna start
Then, well,
talking
you
to
should
them a
be.
little bit. So I'll try to get in their heads.
Yeah.
It'd be a good competition.
Who are you taking, Coach?
I'm going with Nigel.
Nigel.
I mean, he's just done it.
Yeah.
He's done. No offense, Clay. You've done it too, but
He's done it. He's done it more recently than you
Yeah.
have. I think that's probably the polite way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Solid way to put it.
That's all right.
Sooners
I
got
don't
a
say.
little bit of time off. We're going to get into the Vanderbilt win out in Nashville the other day. Odd place to play. I don't think you had played there during your career. I think that we watched Mohamed Wagee. He went over to check in, and I'm not sure he knew where to go to check in because of kind of the logistics of that building. But when you come away with a win, you don't care where you have to go to check into the game. We're going to talk about the Vanderbilt win and what lies ahead for the Sooners coming up next. We will have more on Sooner Sports Talk live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue in Norman.
Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by Bob Moore Ford, official sponsor of the Patriot of the Game. Riverwind Casino, the official entertainment destination of OU Athletics. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. Love's, the heart of the highway.
Sooner Sports Talk coming your way from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue in Norman. Justin Scott, Clayton Custer, Sooner men's assistant basketball coaches are with us, and our second segment is presented by Dos Equis, the official import beer of OU Athletics. Go for Dos. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Coach, you have that trip you mentioned that you guys stayed on the road. You go into Nashville. You play in an environment that Oklahoma's not ever played in before, and you got off to a good start. How did you all get off to such a good start, and how important was that?
Well, I think for starters, our guys are, still very much invested and know that we're right there. We just need to, limit some losing plays to be able to finish out these close games. So I think we've had good starts, throughout the SEC play. So that's not surprising. They were on top of the game plan. Again, putting some ownership on them and having them participate in how we were game planning, I think helped. And then Tay Davis just asserting himself early on, getting to the rim, I thought was a big part of that. And our defense, we were on top of the scouting report.
Yeah, Tay, I think it was 14 in the first 10 minutes of play. Coach Custer, what was happening? What was available for him to be able to take charge early?
So, like I said, we've kind of been trying to get him involved early, running some actions to help get him downhill and get to the basket where he's really effective. They also were putting their four-man in coverage and ball screen coverage, so we utilized him in the ball screen somewhere. He was actually setting the ball screen, and we were throwing it to him on the roll, and he was able to get to the rim that way as well. But he got off to a great start, and he's been playing great over the last couple games.
Only Vanderbilt's second home loss of the entire season. They've been playing extremely well. And, this game was an adventure. It honestly had a little bit of everything, but you're tested down to the wire in the end. Xavier knocks down a couple of free throws. Final margin looks a little closer maybe than it was in the end because Tyler Tanner did not want that game to end. He was still making shots, I think, at the end stages of that game. But to be tested, as you all were, and to be able to close it down, how critical can that be moving forward, Coach Scott?
I think big time. I mean, we led the game for all 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So Coach, made a point to make our players aware of that today, in our film session prior to practice. And then secondly, to go on the road, during the losing streak that we were currently in, like the 15th ranked team in the country, and win, that's big time. So I think our guys just were able to see that, we've been right there, we're good enough, and to close it out and win the game is just adding to their confidence, knowing that, as we finish out this SEC conference schedule, we can beat anybody.
Yeah, you've had so many good signs. You're talking about Oklahoma State win over them. That's a team that's a potential NCAA tournament team. You got Nebraska on the ropes. And that was, I don't care what the address of that game played said. It was a home court advantage in South Dakota up there. Same thing, Marquette in Chicago, and you guys were able to close that game down. You don't want to make too much of just one game. But how important could you see in the locker room and the follow-up the next couple of days, practices and teams together, or when you've gotten the team together since that win in Nashville?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a great energy. Our guys have stayed together through all of it, but like it was great to see them get a win and be able to smile and enjoy themselves a little bit. But like you said, I mean, we can play with anybody in the country. We're leading. We've been leading at half of most of our games in SEC play. You can go back to the scrimmages we played. We played Texas Tech in a scrimmage, won. We played who's our other scrimmage? Wisconsin. We beat Wisconsin. Like you said, Oklahoma State. We're up at half against Alabama. I mean, we can play with everybody in the country, and we can beat all these teams. We just like Coach Scott said, like we just got to eliminate the losing plays, the losing things that have stopped us from winning some of these games. And I think Vanderbilt was a step in the right direction where obviously it wasn't pretty at the end, but we figured out a way to pull it out.
You all will now have some time off, and I don't know, coaches say you never want to say it's a bad time for some time off, but this is a brutal type of schedule. I mean, it is, the SEC. Is there ever a bad time to have a bye week, so to speak, Coach Scott?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's one of those, how do you answer this question?
Yeah.
You think, okay, we just won a game.
Right.
We'd love to follow that up in a couple of games and ride that momentum. But on the other hand, you can get healthy now for a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, just gives us more time to prepare. I think this previous road trip really raised our guys' eyes to when you're on top of the scouting report, the dividends it can pay. So, us just having some extra days, to focus on ourselves, but then also focus on Georgia, I think can only be a good thing.
This is our question of the night. It is our Rudy's question of the night, and it is for Coach Scott. Better basketball in Philly or Chicago?
Philly.
Philly. I knew the answer to that. Now for Coach Custer, better. You're a Kansas City guy, but Chicago via Loyola. Chicago or Philly, better basketball?
I got to say Chicago. But actually, right now, probably Philly.
I figured I would get those
actually
answers.
Probably Philly.
Yeah,
historically,
Chicago.
But right now, Philly.
Right now, Philly.
Yeah.
That's a fair answer.
Yeah.
Way to ride the fence, Coach Custer.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant, Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah, you make a good point. Historically, we may have to have a recount on that
that's
one.
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
Next question, how do you all spend this time now? You got valuable time. You have Georgia coming up on Saturday at the LNC. So what do the next few days look like for you?
So I think it's a mixture of resting and getting the guys fresh, like you said, get the guys healthy, but also getting some work in. And today, the guys took yesterday off, so they had yesterday to relax, and then today we got after it a little bit, working more on ourselves, just trying to get better at some of the things we need to get better at, to clean up some of the things that are going to help us win games, last 2-3 minutes of the game. So that's some of the stuff we worked on today. Tomorrow they'll take off again, get rested, and then Wednesday we'll come back and start really dialing in on Georgia and the game plan for them.
Yeah, Georgia coming up 2:30 on Saturday. Cannon Catchings and Jeremiah Wilkinson, they just won at LSU on Saturday. Coach Scott, maybe give us a little early snapshot scouting report on the Bulldogs coming in.
I mean, the Bulldogs, they play at a high pace. I think they're one of the highest scoring teams, if not the highest scoring team in the country. Don't quote me on that, but they're one of the highest. They press all game long, after makes, after misses. They want it to be high possession games. So, we got to do a good job, against the press, getting in the offense once we break the press, getting back in transition defense. They got one of the best shot blockers in the country, so we got to be able to play off 2 feet, use our shot fakes, things of that sort. But, like most teams in this league, if not every, they're really good.
They're good.
We got to be ready to go.
They have guys. Here's a look at the full upcoming schedule. It is presented by One Oklahoma Sooner Sports, and One Oklahoma is powered by Sooner Sports Properties, fan-fueled, athlete-focused. You can't look too far ahead. You really can't. The SEC has its highest-ranked team as Florida. There are 4 teams in the top 25 this week. It's almost cannibalization. You play so many games against so many good teams that you take your losses and the teams aren't ranked. But make no mistake about it, Coach Custer, this league is absolutely loaded.
Yeah, I mean, analytically, it's the best league in the country again, and it's not even that close again. So yeah, every team we can beat. Every team can get beat, and every team can win any game that they play on any given night. Whether you're playing LSU or you're playing Florida or you're playing Texas A&M or Georgia or whatever it is, you got to come ready to go, and you can't look too far ahead.
That 2016 season was special at Oklahoma, and Buddy Hield's jersey is going to be retired at that Texas A&M game that you just saw there on the screen. So special for many, many fans for Buddy Hield. You know what it's like to go to a Final Four with a team. You did it at Loyola, and Buddy had a special run here at Oklahoma, Clay.
I remember watching him when I was in my apartment when I was in college, watching OU play at Kansas when Buddy had the all-time performance in Allen Fieldhouse. I remember watching that game. But him and Spangler and all those guys, I remember watching it. But, yeah, it takes a special group to go to the Final Four, and it's an experience that, I hope our guys get to experience at some point too. So
2016 team is going to be honored with the Texas A&M game. That's Justin Scott and Clayton Custer, Sooner men's assistant coaches. You can catch them Saturday 2:30 against Georgia at the Lloyd Noble Center. Up next, we are talking Sooner women's gymnastics, top-ranked team in the country. Tom Haley, Lou Ball, their assistant coaches, join us next on Sooner Sports Talk, live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue in Norman.
The Huddle is brought to you by Riverwind Casino. It's always a good time. OU Fan Shop. The best place to gear up for game day is shop.soonersports.com. Sooner Kids Club. Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Kids Club presented by OG&E and brought to you in part by Devon Energy.
Welcome back in to Sooner Sports Talk, live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue in Norman. And this segment is presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind Casino, always a good time. Sooner women's basketball is about to tip off. In fact, not that we want you to turn away from us, but the pregame show with Brian Brinkley and Tyler Neal starting on the Sooner Sports Radio Network at 7:30, and Jenny Baranchek. Sooners are in Nashville taking on Vanderbilt. 8 o'clock is tip-off, and that game is on ESPN2. So watch the rest of our show. We got 30 minutes to talk Sooner women's gymnastics, the top-ranked team in the country, and then you can get over to ESPN2 and watch a little Sooner women's basketball. We got Lou Ball and Tom Haley, associate head coaches for women's gymnastics at the University of Oklahoma, joining us here tonight. We're going to start with a trivia question here for the in-house folks. I think it'll be a quick answer, but those here we have Coach Ball, tell us about these championship hats here.
So these just came in, and it took us a little while. We were going back and forth on design and everything, but they just landed. These are the brand new 2025 championship hats, and we want to give one away tonight. I had two actually to give away tonight, and my wife, KJ Kindler, took them, and I don't know where they are right now, but I managed to find one to give away. So we're going to give away one hat tonight. We love them. They're a great hit. They kind of represents everything that last year stood for, and obviously with the 7 on it, it encapsulates the other 6 years as well.
So the answer to the question is on the hat. How many, and this is for everyone here, if you'll come up to Drake Dykin, who is our producer tonight here in-house, he knows the answer to it, and if he doesn't, it's on the side of the hat, but I'm not going to show you. How many national championships has the Sooner women's gymnastics team won? The first person that can come up to Drake and tell him the answer in an orderly fashion, you win this national championship hat. Coach Haley, are these available coming up at the next home meet? Can you buy these when you come to the meet?
You cannot.
You cannot.
But that's a great idea, actually.
Yeah. Well, I'm a marketing guy for the most part.
Look into that, I think.
I'm only minutes ahead of my time, though, unfortunately. So maybe we can get that done. You all are getting a lot done these days. Two wins over the weekend. Coach Ball, what'd you think of them?
Two great performances, kind of different. Each one was a little bit different. We had different strengths and weaknesses when you look at the 4 disciplines: vault, bars, beam, and floor. But overall, the weekend was a huge success. We ended up on floor down in Fort Worth and had a great performance to finish out the meet, our best floor performance of the year. So that was wonderful.
What are the challenges it presents when, first off, you've got a home meet on Friday in Norman, and then you've only got 1 day's rest, first of all, and you have to travel down to Fort Worth for that meet? Coach Haley, what are the logistical challenges and physical challenges that presents?
Well, it's kind of a strategic scheduling move on our part The national championship is very similar. We have a training day. Then we have the preliminary session. Then there's a day off between preliminary session and the finals. Mm-hmm. So what we do here, every time we have a home meet, we practice the day before, a light practice, and then we compete the next night. So it kind of worked out just like that. And then we took the day off, traveled down to Fort Worth, and then we competed again on Sunday. So it's kind of a dry run for the end of the season. But some of the challenges, you want to make sure they're getting good rest after that first meet, getting good recovery. They all came into the gym, went with our massage therapist, got well taken care of, did some treatments with the trainer. We had a nice, easy bus ride down to Fort Worth. So you just want to make sure they recover well, quite honestly.
How about the physical recovery for the coaches?
That's not a thing.
Different ballgame for us.
That's not a thing.
Me and Tom got up at 4 in the morning and went down to Fort Worth and recruited on Saturday all day.
Yeah.
So we didn't get the day off. So we were there. They were there. We were there. It was fun though. It was good to see all the athletes down there and get to watch them.
No massage therapy for Lou and I.
No massage therapy for Tom and Lou. I bet I'm the first person that even asked, what was you guys' recovery like?
Nobody cares.
Probably
they don't care.
They do not. Let's start with the win on Friday night. If you would, we're going to watch some highlights here. Coach Ball, if you would take us through a few of those. I don't know if we can see on this monitor or that monitor, but Alabama, it's your second top 5 win of the season. You get that done at home. Addison Feta wins the all-around. She wins the vault. Faith Torres, good to have her out there in a couple of events as well. And I just think Camila Pavlak is going against her sister, who's a senior for Alabama. You had that special dynamic as well.
That was fun.
Yeah.
It was a great time. It was really special for her and her sister. They did a little piece on both of them, and they both spoke highly of each other and how special the moment would be. Mm-hmm. Camila had a great meet, and then she went down to Fort Worth, which is the team hosting the meet that we were at. It's her home club.
Yeah.
So she did an even better routine down there in front of her home crowd. So it was a super special weekend for her.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about what we see here, if you would.
This is Mackenzie doing a great job as a freshman. Her new thing is oh yeah. I don't know if anybody saw it, but she let her fall and drop the oh yeah. So every time she drills one, we kind of give her the oh yeah. This is Addison Feta, also another great vault. They kind of been on fire the last 2 meets, especially the last 3, but even this last meet, we managed to stick 4 vaults, which is really hard to do. Here's some bars here. Lily Peterson doing a pack, toe circle. Pretty sure she sticks this dismount.
She does.
She does. She didn't in Fort Worth, but she sticks this one.
Okay.
This is her first time leading off for us this year, and she stepped in and did a great job.
Yeah, how critical is that element? How do you all kind of go about the process of determining the order?
It's based on experience. It's based on scoring potential right out of the gates. We like to get off to a good start. Somebody that's going to get up there, hit a great routine, nice and clean, establish a score base with the judges, obviously, but also give the team some momentum the rest of the way through. If somebody gets up there and just drills a routine right out of the gates, that next person up, they feel that charge of energy, and it excites them to do a great routine themselves.
By the way, we had KJ from Norman send in a question. Who is better as a bars coach? Coach Ball or Coach Haley?
Listen, hey, we've been doing this for 20 years
That's
now.
Right.
And we're the only coaches in the whole country that do what we do.
Yeah.
Nobody else has done it. I think a couple people tried to do it early on after seeing us do it. But Tom coaches floor, I coach vault, and so they get 2 different perspectives on the opposite day. We do floor and vault every other day. We do bars every day. So on a floor day, I coach bars. On a vault day, Tom coached bars, and it's worked for 20 years. We've had nothing but success. So I'm calling it a tie.
It's a tie.
Let's ask KJ what she thinks.
Take us through some of the floor exercise here, Coach Haley.
Yeah, this was a great night. Camila, she's really coming along and doing a great job, getting better every meet. Elle Miller, just doing a phenomenal. Her choreography is super great. She really captivates the audience with this routine. Her tumbling is getting stronger every single week. Addison Feta here, another crowd-pleasing routine. That was a great pass, front double full. That night was very, very good finish on floor. We put Mackenzie Estep at the end of the lineup that night. She had a little bit of a hiccup on her first pass, but the rest of her team was good. But the 5 in front of her did a wonderful job to seal the deal that night for a great score.
Sooners beat Alabama that night. Again, their second top 5 win of the season. Addison Feda wins the all-around, and she also won the vault title. Just a really special night. Then you get a day off. You go down to Fort Worth, and we're going to take a break and go down to Fort Worth with these guys and review the Metroplex Challenge when we come back to Sooner Sports Talk from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue in Norman.
OU's 2025-2026 women's basketball games are available on Ritmo 96.5 FM in Oklahoma City and 101.5 FM El Patron in Tulsa, as well as on those stations' websites. Each OU Spanish broadcast will feature a 15-minute pregame show and a 15-minute postgame show. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. The Sooner Sports Podcast is your all-access audio pass to Sooner Sports. Listen as Toby Rowland and Chris Plank talk all things Sooners. Log on to Soonersports.com/podcast or search Sooner Sports Podcast in your favorite podcast provider. The Sooner Sports Podcast is presented by Allstate and Riverwind Casino.
Back with you at Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue in Norman. It is Sooner Sports Talk on this Monday night, and this segment, our fourth segment of the night, is brought to you by Mercy. Mercy. At Mercy, your life is our life's work. We continue on with Tom Haley and Lou Ball, associate head coaches for women's gymnastics at the University of Oklahoma. And let's take a look real quickly at upcoming Sooner athletic events, because we've talked a little bit. We've been talking more off the air about UCLA a couple of years ago and 11,000 fans. And I know that Coach Kindler has put the call out to try to get at least 10,000 for the LSU meet coming up. And I know you have to go to Florida. You go to Florida this weekend, but LSU coming up on February the 20th. Coach Haley, are we going to get 10,000 at the LNC for that one?
We're absolutely going to do
Let's
that.
do it.
Let's do it. Right now it's slated to be a 1-2 matchup, so if you want to see the two best teams in the country go head-to-head, it's totally worth it. There's going to be a lot of great gymnastics in the room that night. LSU is notoriously a great competitor of ours. We've been finished 1-2 at the national championships numerous times, so it's a very healthy rivalry, and we love competing with them.
And that look at the upcoming schedule was presented by One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties, fan-fueled, athlete-focused. So that's what lies ahead. What is immediately in the rearview mirror is a trip that we talked about down to the Metroplex Challenge. And you all performed very well once again. Arkansas, the other team that's up in the top 10. You get Arizona and Texas Women's University. Overall, how'd you feel about that one?
It was great. I kind of highlighted floor when we opened up, but we started out red hot on vault. We stuck 4 out of 6 vaults. I think it was our 3rd highest vault scoring performance in the history of the program. And these guys were lights out, finishing with Mackenzie Estep getting a 10, which was amazing. She's a freshman. She's the first freshman in the country this year to get a 10 on any event, no matter, nationwide. So very special athlete, great performer. She basically did the same vault she did on Friday night and was rewarded the 10 on Sunday. So, but they were amazing on vault to start the meet.
Did you see the 10 coming, Coach Haley?
I saw it on Friday night, actually. I saw it on Friday night, but we didn't get it.
You're supposed to get home scoring when you're in the Lloyd Noble.
Well, we went on the road. We got it on the road, so I guess that's what counts.
It is the 95th perfect 10 in Sooner women's gymnastics history. Addison Feda had another good night, wins the all-around and the floor exercise. We'll see here in just a moment. But how about the beam that day?
Beam was great. Beam's traditionally a great event for us. These guys are so calm and cool up there. They compete well. They do routines. We call them stick, no move. There's hardly any wobbles. They barely blink. I'm not even sure they're breathing when they're on the beam. They're so calm up there. But they competed like the champions that they are. Didn't flinch at all. It was a great night on beam. Lots of stuck landings.
Faith Torres won the beam title on Friday night. Who won the beam title Sunday? I'm testing your memories.
Faith.
Faith won it again.
I think Faith did.
Faith won it on Sunday
yes,
again.
Yes.
And then you get to the floor exercise here.
Yeah, floor was great. We've been, shuffling our lineups here and there, putting different people in different positions, moving people in and out. And these guys really, really had a great performance to finish that meet. We were only 0.3, I think, ahead of Arkansas going to that last event. And rather than crawling into a shell, they really came out of their shell and competed very, very well.
We mentioned that Addison Feda won this floor exercise title. Now, tell us a little bit more about her. Just so confident. She's the only one that's consistently gone out there every time in the all-around. Tell us about her, Coach.
Yeah, she's an amazing athlete, and she continues to improve on all 4 facets. I mean, vault has improved for her quite a bit this year. She's a little more consistent on bars. She's always been amazing on beam. I feel like she's been super reliable, and on floor she's doing a new pass this year. So I think it kind of out of the gate took her a little bit to kind of figure it out. But these last 2 meets, she was on it. It was two back-to-back floor wonderful performances from her.
Do you sometimes marvel, Coach Haley, at these youngsters like Mackenzie Eastep? I mean, she's vault, bars, floor exercise immediately on the #1 team in the country.
Yeah, when you recruit, she was the #1 recruit in the country. Her and Camila, actually, they were 1A and 1B. Mm-hmm. So you knew you were getting a great athlete and a great competitor. But, when you come to the NCAA, it presents a different challenge than in the private club. You have a lot of other people depending on you. It's the team aspect. There's a little bit more pressure to it, but she has handled it like an absolute veteran. Super proud of her, and I tell her over and over again, even when she has a little hiccup, she's a little bit of a perfectionist, but I'm always telling her, look, you're doing a great job, and this is all part of it, and we're super proud of how she's started off her year. I
don't know that we have mentioned Ella Murphy just yet. She's also been in 3 events on a regular basis for you, Coach Ball. How about her?
Yeah, beautiful gymnast. I mean, it's probably a little bit of yin and yang between the 2 of them. Mackenzie's power and energy, and Ella is beautiful, exquisite form gymnastics, just beautiful performance, one after another. Her toe point, her leg form is just amazing, and she's an artist. Like you watch her do her floor routine, and her dance is exquisite. Like you just sit there and watch, and you get lost in her performance.
I don't think we mentioned Lily Peterson either, and she's been out there in the all-around multiple times for you this year as well, Coach Haley.
Lily's doing a great job, and she's won, like I said earlier, on bars. She stepped in the leadoff position. She had some leadoff experience last year when Danny Sievers went out for a couple of meets. Lily had stepped in her position and did a great job. However, this year Lily added a new skill on the high bar, a little bit more difficult routine. And we put her in that position against Alabama, and she knocked it out of the park. So she's competing well. She's a veteran. She competed all year last year and did a great job. So she knows what it's all about, and she's handling her business very well.
We talked about recruiting. You mentioned getting the #1 and #1A athletes in the country, and that means you got to have great facilities. And you all have the best and the newest in the country. Coach Ball, tell us a little bit about the grand opening and what it's been like.
Yeah, it's amazing. These kids are really, really taking advantage of what's been provided to them, the resources that they have now. I mean, it just makes their day. It allows them to just focus on their academics and their sport. Mm-hmm. And we'll be in there. I'll be in there working, and all of a sudden they'll be in there, and I'm like, "What are you doing here?" She goes, "I'm just coming in to study, and I'm going to hang out." They love hanging out there now.
Yeah.
They've got all the recovery items that they need, massage chairs. They've got ice tubs, cold tubs, heat tubs, great state-of-the-art training room now. They really, really do appreciate what OU has provided to them, and it really does. It's a time management thing. It allows them to really manage their time at a super high level so that they can be super efficient and perform to their best ability. And we had an alumni weekend this weekend, and the alumni came back. Who we worked out in a warehouse for 6 months. We called it the sweat box. It was a warehouse with no AC, and it was 100 degrees, and they were miserable. And these kids came back, and they know, we tell them all the time, you guys helped us build this program, and you helped put this facility together. And they got to come back and see the facility, and they were just starstruck.
Yeah. I would imagine so. It's like a resort, which reminds me that whether it's one day, a long weekend, or a special occasion, make your next vacation iconic. Make it O'Connor Resort, where it's always 82 degrees and sunny inside. Take 25% off your stay with code OUOKC. Book now at o'connorresort.com. And more housekeeping. Marissa, congratulations. She's the winner of our championship hat. 7 national championships. She has it right over there. Yeah, that's a limited edition item. Now, we don't want to see that on eBay later. That's not going to be on eBay. It will command top dollar. 20 years you all have had this partnership. And when I am around you and listen to you all talk, I see why it works so well together. Can you believe it's been 20 years, Coach Haley?
You know, sometimes I think, wow, that's a long time, and then other times I feel like it's flashed by, you know. But I can remember the day that Lou and KJ asked me to come along for the ride, and I can remember committing to them to come here with them. I can remember our first day. You know, it's very vivid to me, but it's been a heck of a run, man, and I can't imagine doing it with anybody else but these guys.
And many more years to come. How about 20 more? You got 20 more in you, Coach Paul?
I don't know about 20.
7 national championships, 20 years. Just say when you get to 15, maybe you guys will step aside.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, we can't wait. Florida coming up on Sunday. We appreciate both of you guys being here. And then LSU, don't forget, let's pack the place and have over 11,000 just like UCLA was. You'll see number 1 versus number 2 when Oklahoma meets LSU. Wrapping things up on Sooner Sports Talk in just a moment.
We'd like to thank our OU community outreach partners, Fowler Auto Group, OU Health, OG&E, and Coca-Cola. Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by OU Fan Shop. The best place to gear up for game day is shop.soonersports.com.
Thanks for joining us once again for an edition of Sooner Sports Talk from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, presented by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Our final segment is presented by Love's Travel Stops, the heart of the highway. Just as a reminder that Sooner women's basketball, they would normally be on the second half of this show, but they can't be because they're about to tip off on ESPN2 on the road in Nashville against Vanderbilt. They are back home for a game coming up on Thursday night, though, at the Lloyd Noble Center. Thanks to all the coaches who were here tonight. Thanks to you for watching. I'm Chad McKee. This has been Sooner Sports Talk from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue in Norman.
Live at Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, Sooner Sports Talk has been brought to you by Dos Equis, official import beer of OU Athletics. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. And by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Sooner Sports Network.